speedsters only lose to plots. That is a statement overly used when something doesn't go the speedster's way, but it's wrong. And Arrow, the man who became someone else, the man who became something else, proves why it's false by humbling the Flash. So let's talk about it. We start off with Flash meeting up with Iris at Jitters, and Iris asks Flash, "Can you tell me your secret identity so I can talk about it on my blog?" Well, she didn't say it like that, but she might as well have. Barry rushes her off and asks, "What's the deal? Why did you summon me?" And Iris says,
"My boyfriend, he's..."
Did you guys break up?
No.
Bro, Barry, chill. I can't lie, I feel you. But you can't go out like that. Bro, I was so used to Barry having so much aura that I completely forgot he was primed to make more. But hey, look at him now. But what Iris came to tell Barry is that Edwin is trying to lock him up. But before Barry can reply, Cisco hops on comms, telling Barry there's a crime in progress. So Flash tells Iris,
I've got to run.
I bet you say that to all the girls.
Is she flirting? Bro, you have a man. Edwin would be sick to his stomach seeing this. And it gets even worse. Barry says, "What other girls?" and hits the dash. But look at Iris. Is she getting wet? It was not that cool. And actually, it was quite disrespectful. Barry made a whole mess. Now guess who has to clean it? You, Iris. We check on the criminal and he's counting the money he stole. But then he sees there was a tracker among the cash. And it's too late to hit the dash because the cops are coming in fast, but he's already in the wind. But actually, it was more so a breeze because the cops catch him lacking. And since I forgot this guy's name, we'll call him Red Eye. Red Eye puts his hands up and a cop goes to cuff him. But Joe made a big mistake. He told Red Eye to turn around. And when he does, he activates his showering gun. The officer turns around, aiming the stick furiously, and his eyes are now red. But real quick, let me explain Red Eye's power. He's not mind controlling you, he's just bringing out your anger, unleashing your rage. And sadly for Joe, he's gonna find out the hard way because the officer lets it rip. But Barry pulls up, saving the two officers and diving to protect Joe. But now Barry's on the ground. The officer pulls up, ready to shoot. There's nothing Barry can do. Look at his face. He knows he's cooked. But then, two arrows hit the cop, and then we see him, the man who became someone else. The man who became something else. Oliver Queen. And look at Barry's smile. Barry wasn't even this happy the day of his marriage. I mean, Nazis did show up, but you get the point. And then Oliver says,
"Nice mask."
Bro, this man is so goated. Notice how he didn't even mention he saved Barry's life. That's because it's natural. It's just another Tuesday. And then Ollie leaves in style. And Barry is cheesing. And I can't blame him. This is like watching prime LeBron James. And now we see Barry and Ollie put up on Diggle. And Barry tells Ollie,
Thanks for showing up back there, but I had that.
Bro, I'm not even trying to glaze right now. But the way Ollie responded, bro, listen to it. I could spend 10 minutes explaining why that line is so good. But Oliver summed it up for me.
I was getting ready to make my move.
What move? The one to the morgue?
And then Barry asked, why is Team Arrow in Central City? And that's because something about a boomerang? Who cares? Barry says they should team up, to which Oliver says no. But then Felicity steps up, saying that she'll team up with them solo. And as she starts walking to the car, Barry says,
How about I give you a lift?
Nah, bro. Laurel could never. Nissa could never. I know Ollie was sick to his stomach seeing that. And it's like, what can he do? Chase him? Yeah, right. And bro, it gets worse. Because when they make it to Star Labs, Felicity's on fire. And because she's on fire, she has no choice but to undress. This would have made Ollie crash out. But anyways, Dr. Wells summons Barry. And these boys tell Barry they don't trust Ollie. And that's hilarious coming from Wells. If you know, you know. And Joe and Wells are straight hating on Ollie. All because he caught a few bodies. And before Barry can defend his honor, we hear screaming. And we see Caitlyn running. And I don't know why, but the way Caitlyn was hitting the dash, that had me rolling. Now we see the boomerang flying across the room due to Cisco's experiment. And then Joe tells Barry,
I want that arrow out of my city. Tonight.
Get off that nigga dick, bro. What is you doing?
but nonetheless, we check on Ollie and he kicks his door down and starts aiming his bow, questioning this guy about Red Eye. And all you gotta know is Oliver got the answers because now he's at Jitters with Barry and Felicity. And Ollie tells Barry Red Eye's identity, which is Roy something. I didn't write it down, I forgot. Barry then asks Oliver, how did you find that out?
Thanks. How did you find that out? Guy's still alive, right?
Get off that nigga dick, bro.
And then Iris pulls up, bringing lattes. And bro, is she shooting her shot with another dude? Again? Dog, look at Barry's reaction. But Iris snaps out of it and asks to talk to Barry one-on-one just to start glazing Ollie. Bro, this glaze was extraordinary.
Oh my god, he's even more handsome in person, and his arms are like twice the size of yours.
Technically, they're not twice this size.
I know Barry was sick hearing this. And this next part, it's just devastating. I wouldn't want my worst enemy to hear this. Iris, the woman who Barry loves, tells Barry,
He's on my 3 list.
What's a 3 list?
My list of 3 guys I'm allowed to cheat on Eddie with.
nah, bro, I couldn't do it. I would have fell to my knees. How do you get chosen by lightning, but you can't get chosen by the woman you love? We check on Ollie, and Felicity is begging Ollie to work with Flash, to which Ollie says no. But Felicity's persistent, and with no other option, Ollie agrees to team up. Now we see Ollie at this ranch, and Barry shows up late. Barry, how can you have super speed and still not be on time?
Barry, how can you have super speed and still not be on time?
That's what I'm saying. Bro, me and Ollie are locked in. And then Ollie tells Barry they're here to train, which Barry thought was a joke. joke. That was until Ollie brings up Barry's past battles, talking about how he does not scan the environment and just charges in blindly. And then we get this bar from Ollie.
There's a difference, Barry, between having powers and having precision.
And then Ollie grabs his bow and arrow and tells Barry,
You're gonna run over there, you're gonna come back at me, and you're gonna get hit with an arrow.
and Barry had the nerve to laugh in Ollie's face. But look at how Ollie responds.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
And with that, Barry accepts the challenge. Barry gets in position and Ollie aims the bow. And then
Nice try.
Barry gets shot by 2 arrows. And do you want to know what's so amazing about this scene? It proved Oliver's point. Oliver told Barry, you don't scan the environment, you just charge in blind. And if we look at the scene more closely, when Barry first arrived, he had time to scan the environment, but he didn't. Before Barry ran to point A, he had time to scan the environment, but he didn't. And when he ran to Oliver, he had time to scan the environment, but he didn't. That's 3 times. Barry could have cased the area, but he chose not to. And this is the perfect example of why speedsters don't only lose to quote-unquote plot. A lot of you fail to realize speedsters are still humans, and just like humans, they have personality traits. And this scene also shows greater detail on why Green Arrow is top 5 in DC. Matter of fact, I dare say top 3. This man ended the speedsters only lose to plot agenda in 1 scene and gave us perfect evidence why. Barry gets back to base and he's greeted by Felicity, and Barry put up right on time because they get word on Red Eye, and Felicity says they should call up Ollie, but Barry says he can handle this.
I don't need his help.
And he gets to zooming, making it to the mansion. Barry opens the doors and hears Red Eye, and then he walks out and hears Red Eye. Do you get it? Because I said hears Red Eye like he can hear Red Eye like he with his ears, and this time I said hears Red Eye like hears Johnny.
Shut up.
Barry speed blitz him, pitting Red Eye against the wall, but Barry made a crucial mistake. He knocked off Red Eye's glasses, and now Barry has become a victim, and Red Eye escapes. The team scans Barry, and apparently he's fine, but then Caitlin starts laying into Barry, letting him know he should have brought Ollie. He should have brought the man who became someone else. He should have brought the man who became something else. But Barry is not going for it, and he tells Caitlin, shut your trap. And speak of the GOAT, he calls up Barry. Flash pulls up, and Ollie asks Barry about his misstep in catching Red Eye, and Ollie's not even angry, but he tells Barry, the only reason you are still alive right now is because of your super speed. You need to keep learning, keep training, keep getting smarter, and until you understand that, you will do more harm than good. And from all that wisdom that Ollie just dropped, here's what Barry got from that.
I finally see it. You're a little bit jealous of me, aren't you? A guy like you, handsome, rich, can have any girl he wants. Jealousy's probably a new emotion for you, so you might be a little slow to get what it is that you're feeling.
Barry, that's your theory?
That's your theory?
That's what I'm saying. Now, although this is Barry's anger talking, this is one of my favorite moments, and it gets even better.
So you can train, lift weights, climb that stupid bar until your heart explodes, but you'll never be as fast as I am. You will never be what I am. And that's gotta hurt your rock-hard pride, Ollie.
Bro, Grant Gustin was in his bag. I'm talking Prime D Rose. I'm talking Michael Phelps. I'm talking Namor. And then Barry takes his leave and he goes to work, and Zing starts meat writing. Bro, Barry just walked in and he's already dealing with this. So with Barry not being in the mood, he lets out a justified crash out. But then Joe pulls up, taking Barry to a one-on-one.
Wait, you're just like him. Like Wells and Oliver and everyone else my whole life that didn't think I could get the job done. Do you want to help me, Joe? You want to help me get my dad out of prison? You helped put him there, didn't you?
Cinema. And what makes this episode so great, it felt like Barry could finally crash out without the team betraying him, because later on in the series, it feels like whenever Barry expresses himself, they treat him like garbage. So seeing this, it's so refreshing. But Barry seeing this, Edwin and Iris, it's not so refreshing. Joel tells Barry, calm down.
I'm calm, okay? When I am not calm, you'll know.
And Barry takes his leave. We go to Star Labs, and Joe pulls up saying Barry was crashing out, and everyone on the team is scared, terrified, petrified, and rightfully so, considering what Barry can do. How will they stop him? And then Wells says,
we're gonna need the Arrow's help.
but now we see Iris and Edwin is hitting on the Flash while Iris is glazing him, and then nah, Barry demands like a GTA pedestrian, and then Barry walks up. I love it. I love it. Bro, when Barry's mad, it's always a good time. Well, as a viewer, not if you're going against him. Even in the Suicide Squad game, if you watch the Flash cutscenes, they were awesome. Edwin pulls out a gun.
Guess you had to rent your girlfriend's blog.
That's a bar. Edwin starts busting, and Flash is just flexing and runs behind him. We check on Star Labs, and they have eyes on Barry, who once again walks up on Edwin. Edwin stands up and charges at Barry, but gets thrown like a rag doll. I gotta respect it though. Iris starts trying to calm Barry down, but it's a no prevail, and Barry's eyes glow red, and he goes for the kill. But then Barry gets tied up by the god trapped in a human's body, by the specimen who created his creator, by the man who bites the hand that feeds him and gets away with it, Oliver Queen. And he tells Iris and Edwin, run! And then Ollie tells Barry, you need to calm down.
And you need to hold on.
And Barry starts dragging Ollie across the street. We go to Star Labs, and Caitlin is riding heavy.
I just hope they can turn Barry back before he kills Oliver.
What is she talking about? But it's like, I can't be mad. She never watched Arrow. And then Diggle lets her know, do you even know how many people Ollie has killed with that bow and arrow? And their response was so good, Cisco had to start jumping. But enough talk. Let's find out and see. Barry starts walking up on Ollie. Ollie shoots 2 arrows that Barry weaves.
You missed.
No.
This is truly an art. And look at how Ollie is looking at Barry. The disappointment in his eyes. Aren't you supposed to be a speedster? Barry looks up and Ollie's gone. Barry stands up and gets shot by Ollie.
2,000 milligrams of horse tranquilizer. Should be hitting you any time now.
Barry drops to a knee, pulls out the arrow, and he... I can't lie, that was hard. It even had Ollie shook. But you know what's crazy? Imagine if Oliver was taking this seriously. When Ollie shot Barry, he could have started going crazy. But Ollie sees the good in Barry, so he's holding himself back. Bro, what a goat! Bro, top 3, I dare say top 2. But as for Barry, he's going all out and starts running at Ollie. So Ollie went for high ground, but Barry runs up the building and cuts Ollie's grappler. But Ollie luckily recovered. But this just proves my point. Barry is going all out. He's trying to knock off Ollie. While for Ollie, this is just a training session. And CW did an amazing job of portraying this. And if they wanted to be more realistic and make Ollie actually try, well then let's just say we wouldn't have to worry about this.
You are not the Flash, Barry. We are.
Ollie lands on the ground and he's greeted by Flash, and here's where Barry goes on offense. He runs up, weaving the strike by Ollie, and actually Barry's weaving everything, just barely though. And once again, bro, I am not trying to glaze, but this scene just shows how goated Ollie is. Ollie swings with the bow, almost decapitating Barry, by the way. Barry weaves it, but look at this. Ollie is already pre-firing where Barry will be. And keep in mind, this is Oliver holding back, so if he was actually going all out, well then let's just say we wouldn't have to worry about this.
Just tried to kill Bart.
Because he's my thought.
Barry tries aura farming, but Oliver comes in swinging. Barry ducks, but he should have geesed because Oliver hits him with the left. And once again, look at Ollie. He's feeling bad. And Barry was rocked, but he collects his marbles and he starts piecing Ollie up. But the damage is adding up. Ollie is feeling the pain, and Barry even hit Mance with the backhand and then socks him with the left and the right, sending Arrow to the floor. But what you all failed to realize, this was all a part of Ollie's plan. Ollie presses the button, sending 2 arrows at... You fool! Were you not listening to me? This was all a part of Ollie's plan. And he throws a dart in Barry's leg. It didn't matter what Barry chose to do, because either way, he was gonna get hit. Barry pulls out the dart, and they both stand, with Oliver saying,
I still believe in you, Barry.
But Barry's eyes glow red. He throws a punch at Ollie, and Ollie catches it. Had Barry perplexed. And then Ollie socks him and contains him. And we see a van pulling up. Ollie is holding Barry in Goku position, as well as shows him the colors, releasing Barry of his rage. We go back to Star Labs.
So, it was a tie.
Nah, Cisco, don't try to cop a plea. That was easily Oliver's win. Back to Barry, he apologizes to Oliver, to which Ollie says,
It's not your fault.
bro, that's pure greatness. He doesn't blame Barry for none of this. And these boys proceed to off-screen red eye. We go to Star Labs, and once again, Ollie proves why he's the GOAT. Dr. Wells tries glazing Oliver, and after their conversation, Ollie says,
There is something off about that guy.
bro, you can't make this up. Oliver knew that he was a reverse Flash. Well, like, he didn't know, but like, give him a day or two and he would have figured it out. And this next part, this is for the people who are going to say, Ollie only won because Barry was mind controlled.
I wish I could say it was all because of whatever Bivolo did to me, but I guess I had more feelings bottled up than I thought.
This is basically Barry saying he was his true self, and all the effects did was bring out what he had bottled in, proving that Oliver is just that great. And that's the story of how Green Arrow humbled the Flash. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Peace.